What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for returning for another episode of MMO and RPG News. My name is Solomon SK for Coffee and RPGs, and we got a lot of exciting news for the MMO and RPG gaming genre, including all the players for ArcheAge, because some items were lost during the transfer over to Kakao Games. Nightingale was supposed to originally be an MMORPG. Various winter events, including Elyon having a Snowman event. New World re-enables character creation, but still leaves a lot of questions unanswered. The hilarious game Palworld gets another trailer with additional screenshots, and Rift is still online. I thought it was dead. So welcome, guys. I hope you guys join me for today's episode with your coffee or beverage of choice like always, and let's go ahead and go over these articles together. Cheers to you guys. And really quick, I do a shorts version of today's video where I just kind of go over the headlines really quick just to kind of fill you in 60 seconds or less, just a really quick version. I'll have a link to that in the upper right hand corner if you're just wanting to look at some of the things that are contained in this video, but just really fast because I just want to respect your time. And so you have a option to watch both or either one. Choice is yours, but I really do appreciate your support at the end of the day. But anyways, moving on, so let's go ahead and get this one out of the way, just because I know a lot of you who play games on the mobile platform might be interested in this. I know I am admittedly a little bit, considering mobile games isn't necessarily my cup of tea or cup of coffee in this case. But anyways, it says here from PCGamer.com that Google is testing a Windows app that lets you play Android mobile games on the PC. And I know what you are already thinking, especially if you run emulators. There's already ones out there like BlueStacks, for example, that I use to play mobile games for the PC. But this might be something that might potentially be better, because with other emulators out there, they're not really optimized for the PC, and even then you have to be a little bit tech savvy to know to get into your BIOS and change some of the settings there in order to get software like BlueStacks running optimally. But even then there's some hiccups a little bit, but it's still good enough, don't get me wrong. And we have companies like NCSoft that actually has their own dedicated emulator made specifically and optimized specifically for NCSoft games, which I think is really cool. But Google's getting in on the emulation action too, and I really hope that this does take off and allows mobile gamers out there to be able to play it on the PC, because we've seen a lot of hybrids out there, and the one that comes to mind right now would be Genshin Impact, where it allows you to play for both the PC and the mobile, being cross-platform and even on the consoles as well, for all the PlayStation users out there at least. And yeah, even though, again, like I said earlier, mobile games isn't something that I really like to play. I generally think they are a cash grab at the end of the day for the most part, and there are gems out there. For example, I really enjoy playing games like Epic 7 if you are curious. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely support this just because I do believe that it is in the future. And let's face it, one of the reasons why that Microsoft purchased Activision-Blizzard was because of the huge profits that they make in the mobile platform particularly. And I believe Devin Nash, I saw his video earlier this week, said that they make $2 billion in revenue, and that's a huge chunk of change just for the mobile platform alone and whatnot. And so again, I hope that PC gaming stays strong. There's definitely something about PC gaming, AAA experiences for the PC and the consoles, that I do enjoy and like over just playing this little dinky little game on a little screen at the end of the day. Same thing with movies, would rather watch it on a big screen rather than a little thing that you know so small at the end of the day. But in any event, I think more choices is definitely a good thing. So anyways, moving on. Next, we got something for all you Lord of the Rings fans out there, and this isn't necessarily gaming news, but I thought I'd cover it anyways here really quick. And it says here that Amazon Lord of the Rings TV shows gets an official subtitle, The Rings of Power. The multi-season drama will be set thousands of years before the Lord of the Rings timeline that we've all seen in the movies and in The Hobbit and whatnot. And so this is a little bit unfortunate as well, because as we understood, Amazon was actually making another MMORPG based on the Lord of the Rings franchise, but as far as we can tell, that's been canceled. So if you want to play the Lord of the Rings MMO, you have to play the one that came out like nearly 15 years ago, I believe. As far as I can tell, it's still going pretty strong. I mean, not as popular as it was and could be, in my opinion, but you still got something out there. Although, admittedly, the game is a bit dated and it definitely shows its age, but heck, it's still a game that people still love playing even to this day. Next, we head on over to MMORPG.com for their first article here, and it says that Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis Stellar Grace World Trial is now running with bonuses, and this is their event that's going on right now, I believe for about a month if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there's various boosts that you could get in terms of gaining experience and whatnot, and obviously you collect particular tokens, trade those tokens to exchange for timely exclusive rewards and whatnot. From what I can tell, it's your stereotypical event in any MMO. Although this game, I guess, would be considered an MMO, I don't know, or like an online RPG at the very least. But anyways, this is definitely one of those games I haven't played in a while. Definitely want to jump into it, but I said that for almost a lot of games out there. So anyways, moving on. Next, we got a little bit of ArcheAge in the news again, and they can't seem to be really be able to catch a break, unfortunately. But it says here that ArcheAge transfer process lost items, so Kakao will compensate with replacements with random stats. And I already looked at the comment section of this article, and a lot of people are disappointed. But then again, this is one of those games that people love just bashing on regardless of what they do, even if they do good things, which is kind of unfortunate, but understandably so, considering the lies, you know, unfortunately, especially with ArcheAge Unchained and all the pay to win items, throughout the years. But at the end of the day, I mean, you still have a lot of people dedicated to this game, and I said it before and I'll say it again, I'm really hoping that ArcheAge 2, with the sort of leadership, or with Kakao Games in charge, hopefully ArcheAge 2 won't be as bad and kind of put, I was gonna say put Jigsaw in its place, but that's not fair. I don't want to make it sound like this is sort of like a power dynamic where he can't do what he wants to do. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'm really rooting for ArcheAge 2. I hope it's a game that does just head above shoulders compared to the first one. I have no desire to play the first one after what they did at Unchained, admittedly, and yeah, man, I really want to like this game, but I just can't bring myself to do it. But anyways, they do go on saying that they will be compensated, but as always, the compensation isn't something a lot of players agree with. They think it's a little too little, especially with some of the stones and the random stats that were socketed to your items, from what I can tell, and how those won't be compensated because I don't know, I guess they don't have data on that. But yeah, it is unfortunate considering the transfer from Kakao to Pearl Abyss with regards to Black Desert Online went pretty smooth, in my opinion. I didn't have any complaints, none of my guildies had any issues and whatnot, none of our items were missing or anything like that. And so yeah, I don't know what happened here. It's unfortunate, but we know that transferring of the publisher between publisher and developer can be smooth, as I said with Black Desert Online, but for whatever reason they kind of dropped the ball here, unfortunately. Next, we'll be talking about a game called Nightingale, and this is something that I look forward to talking about because I never actually heard about this game. But it says here that Nightingale was originally an MMO-Scale game, but Inflexion changed paths to a survival crafting game, and at face value, I have to admit, I kind of understand why they did that. MMOs definitely are not the same beasts as they were even 10 years ago, much less 20 years ago. And we've seen the popularity of games like Valheim being such a juggernaut when it comes to popularity in the survival RPG realm, if you will. We've been seeing a lot less MMOs being made, and even if they are being made, they're being made for the mobile platform, and even then, I wouldn't use the term or MMO genre to label that particular game because there's nothing massively about it, unless you're talking about games like V4 or Victory 4, for example, which does have a large persistent world out there. Now, the article does go on to say that they actually had members of the Amazon team who were part of the New World team, actually, and they came in and, you know, I guess they were looking at what's been going on with the game, and I wouldn't say New World is a complete failure, although it lost a lot of its spark from its initial release. I think that's pretty fair to assume at this point with regards to the player popularity, or I'm sorry, the population, well, popularity too, actually. With all these survival RPGs coming out there, I mean, it just seems like there's been a saturation, if you will, because yeah, I don't know. It's been something that a lot of games have been coming out to do recently, with things like zero population being a huge failure as well. And so just because you switch routes and go towards a survival RPG rather than an MMO, that doesn't necessarily is gonna grant you success. But I mean, yeah, well, at the end of the day, we'll see how this game goes. I'm definitely rooting for it, and I'll definitely keep you guys posted as we get more information. And really quick, to those of you who still play Elyon, I should be in that camp, but again, another game I really want to like, but I can't seem to bring myself to really play it, even though I still have it installed. It says here, give a snowman a taste of summer and unlock soulstone slots in the latest Elyon update. And yeah, I just wanted to bring that to your attention in case this is a game that you want to go back into or you still play it and whatnot. We did have news of a server merge, I believe, a few weeks ago, and the game doesn't seem to be doing incredibly well in terms of its population, unfortunately. I wouldn't be surprised if this game went offline within this year. If I was going to be totally truthful, I don't want it to, but at the end of the day, it's still your run-of-the-mill MMO. There's really nothing that sets it apart from other MMOs, and yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Next to all the Star Wars fans out there, it says that devs still want your Legacy of the Sith PTS feedback for Star Wars The Old Republic, and you definitely get compensated for your time with this one because you actually get exclusive titles and rewards in the form of, I believe, even this mount, or no, this is not a mount, or it looks like a mount, but I think it's one of those resting animations and whatnot. But anyways, if you're not familiar with this particular update, this is supposed to be their next biggest update here that will continue on the storyline with Kira. No, I believe that one's over with, I'm not mistaken. Well, Darth Malgus, essentially. As it says here, that with Legacy of the Sith coming in under a month, the Star Wars The Old Republic public test server is still running to test any or many of the overhauled systems, story, and new features coming in the expansion. The team is reminding everyone that there are rewards for testing the new content and helping the team get to the finish line, given that it's the final push towards what is going on to not just be a huge expansion, but overall big update in 7.0 for the game as a whole is an effort to keep moving forward as Star Wars The Old Republic begins its 11th year. I can't believe it's actually been that long. I remember the release of this game very vividly, and it was one of the hyped games in my opinion, or one of the hyped MMOs in MMO history. Definitely because you had the huge juggernaut that was BioWare at the time, and again, Star Wars The Old Republic as a franchise. But yeah, again, if this is something you want to check out, definitely let me know. I still play this game from time to time, maybe a few times a week, and I'm still subbed to the game, and so I definitely would have to check it out just for the goodies alone. Not necessarily sure if I'm gonna put any feedback, because, well, maybe I will, I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's something that's available for you if you do plan on checking out 7.7 or 7.0, excuse me. Now, in the last video, admittedly, I said the title and the thumbnail was a little bit clickbaity, but maybe it really wasn't. Kind of was, but not really. I believe there was some grain of truth to it, but at the end of the day, it says here that New World enables character creation after downtime, while the community still has questions. So as it says earlier, character creation is back up, but however, while the team did announce roughly 2 hours in advance that there would be downtime that would last several hours, there's still no reason given as to why the character creation was halted across the board in the first place. For anyone who has paid any attention to the game, New World had a bumpy post-launch period, but the team has been active in working to address the issues. While character creation is back in downtime performed, the community is taking notice and asking about the lack of info as to what just happened and what was addressed. And again, from the previous video, there was a lot of speculation as to why they did this, to maybe combat the bots that are rampant within the game, or even the gold farmer spam that's going on, and maybe various hacks and exploits out there for various reasons, because we all know that there was like this gold duping bug that occurred where, yeah, some players were able to get tons amount of gold, so they disable trading between characters to prevent that from happening and whatnot, but as of right now, still no reason was given as to why you couldn't create your character, which is a problem because that's one of the biggest features of the game, if you will. And for them to suddenly stop that, I mean, there might be some cause to concern as to where this game is headed on a large scale. But at the end of the day, I don't think Amazon is ready to abandon this game yet. If it's profitable, at least I hope it is, we could see a continuation of in-game content and just a thriving community within this MMO. Again, this MMO doesn't have to topple World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14. It just needs a strong enough player base to keep it going and whatnot, right? So at the end of the day, I'm a little concerned, but it's still something that might not have to be addressed until further down along the line, as we see maybe an increase or a decrease in the population. So we'll see as we go on from here. Next, we'll head on over to Destructoid.com, and this isn't RPG news per se, but this is something that I really wanted to cover because according to my analytics, a lot of you are within my age range, and this is a game that you've actually might have played growing up with the original NES. And it says here that there's an exclusive get up to speed on River City Girls 0 with Kyoko and Misako, I believe that's how you say it. But anyways, if you grew up during the 90s, you played a lot of beat 'em up, especially the likes of Double Dragon, and then later you had games like Final Fight, Streets of Rage and whatnot. And River City was definitely one of those games that was a bit different compared to the other ones because it had a lot of like RPG mechanics, and you were able to collect money and buy items and upgrades and whatnot. And so there was more depth to River City compared to the other beat 'em ups where you just literally just went out and picked up weapons and food and fought along. Definitely simple, which isn't a bad thing, but again, River City had a little bit more oomph to it, a little bit more of more character to it because of those features and whatnot. And so this is a remaster, and it says here that River City Girls 0, the incoming remaster of the duo's 1994 debut, will be available for the PlayStation, PC, Xbox, and the Switch in the near future. But what's really cool is that you're actually going to get additional content here as well, and it says that the new edition of RCG 0 will not only see the Japan-only title officially localized for the very first time, but it will receive a fresh coat of paint via all new manga-style cutscenes, an anime cinematic, and a slick new theme song composed by the evocative Megan McDuffie. I don't know who that is, but apparently she's really evocative. So now what's really cool too, especially if you're an old school gamer such as I am and prefer physical copies over digital ones, they actually do have physical copies of this game, but unfortunately they don't have anything for the PC, which is super disappointing. It says here for both physical media heads, Limited Run Games has revealed that it will be dropping hard copies of RCG 0 for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch. No word of a PC, like I said. Pre-orders for these editions will open on January 28th exclusively on the Limited Run Games website. The retro remaster will be made available in all three formats, including a standard boxed edition, a 2 goodie-filled collector's edition as well. Additional merch is also in the works. And I will admit, this retro cartridge keychain, yeah, that's, oh my goodness, that's so awesome. And in their next article, it says here that Dying Light 2 will have free next-gen upgrades for previous-gen consoles, and that's always a good news, especially if you do planning on getting the next Xbox and PlayStation and still want to play this game. Now, when I read this headline, I must admit I was kind of surprised because I didn't know modding for Zelda games was an actual thing. And it says here that the Amazing Zelda Breath of the Wild fan expansion just got 2 more boss battles. So I was thinking, wait, this game never came out for the PC, because you typically associate PC games, with modding, but you could play these mods on your Nintendo, apparently. And it says here that mods have been a long-standing tradition in Breath of the Wild community. Again, didn't even know this, but Second Wind continues to amaze me, as the author continues to say. The newest clips on the blog include the Octoboss and Talus Lord battles, which are repurposed confrontations from existing assets done in a very clever way. And so, yeah, if you're a Zelda fan and you download these mods, let me know down in the comment section below how this even happens in the first place, because downloading mods for your Nintendo console is just not even a, yeah. It's a foreign concept to me. There's definitely modding out there for the consoles, but they're generally well known from the Fallout series, because I know Bethesda created its own sort of platform or system where you could actually download a lot of these mods that were made for the PC, and yeah, it's definitely interesting for sure. And speaking of additional PTS news, we got another one here from Fallout 76, and it says here that the next Fallout 76 update is spending a little bit more time in testing, and as always, you do get exclusive rewards, and you get this pennant here, which admittedly is actually pretty cool. So you get this if you try out the PTS again and give them your feedback. Well, I don't know if you actually necessarily have to give them feedback, or maybe you just have to try it, but in any event, it is something that's available to you if you're a hoarder and just have to collect everything that is within Fallout 76. And if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you guys know that I'm a huge mech fan, and this game has been on my wish list on Steam for the longest time, and I never got it, waiting for a sale to drop, and it did go on sale, but only for like 10 to 20% off or something like that, which was still a lot of money considering it's still $50 or $60, I believe. But in any event, you'll be able to get this game for free on the Epic Game Store, which I'm actually kind of happy about, as it says that the Daemon X Machina will be next week's Epic Game Store freebie. And just wanted to let you guys know, give you the heads up if you are interested in this game as I am. Definitely will have to stream it and give you my 2 cents on the game, even though the game came out almost 2 years ago, but I guess better late than never. Next we head on over to Gematsu.com, and admittedly, Uncharted was one of those games for the PlayStation I never played. Definitely one of the bigger regrets in my gaming life, as to this game looked really awesome, but I just never got around to it, unfortunately. But it says here that Uncharted Legacy of the Thieves Collection launch trailer was released, and the PlayStation 5 version is due out on January 28th. The 2-game bundle includes, yes, a remastered version of Uncharted 4, A Thieves, and an Uncharted The Lost Legacy, both of which are currently available for the PlayStation 4. Uncharted Legacy of the Thieves Collection is due out for the PlayStation 5 on January 28th, for the PC via Steam and Epic's Game Store in 2022, and that is awesome. Again, we've seen a large number of PlayStation games being ported over to the PC, with God of War just coming out for the PC on Steam last week, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool, and it will definitely give me an excuse to kind of compensate for that regret, as I said earlier, of not being or not playing this game when it first came out, because I know this game has a really cool storyline and whatnot, and so yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. So we got an additional trailer and screenshots for our favorite game, Palworld, here. If you guys don't remember this game, I did a reaction to one of its trailers last year, and I laughed so hard. I'll have a link to it up in the cards in the top right hand corner if you want to see it. But yeah, this was the trailer where there was a scene of a guy getting shot at with a machine gun and uses a sheep as a shield, and it's crying. I know that sounds completely messed up, but oh my goodness, I just couldn't help but just laugh my butt off with that one. It is, yeah. But anyways, Craftopia Studio Pocket Pair have released the second official trailer and new screenshots for the multiplayer open world survival crafting game Palworld, and if there's any indication as to how funny this trailer might be from the first trailer that we see last year, I'll definitely have to do a reaction on that one. I'll include it down below, but I'm trying my best not to look at it, just so that I could be surprised at some of the stuff that that may potentially shock us from the outrageousness of this game. But just wanted to give you a heads up if you are interested in playing this game. Definitely I am, just because of the dark humor. But anyways, moving on. And in Gematsu's next article, it says here that Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary event set for April 10th, and within the context of online games and MMOs, we think this might be an event within the game, but that's not the case. Well, Kingdom Hearts isn't an online game or an MMO in the first place, but it does go on to say here that Square Enix will be hosting a Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary event on April 10th in Tokyo, Japan, the company announced. And so this is an actual real life event that you're able to attend, but although I'm pretty sure they'll stream it and give opportunities to ask questions to the devs and whatnot, as it says here that the event will feature a mini concert, a chat and questions and answers with the dev team, an exhibition, and much more. A video of the event will be available online at a later date. And so I know there's a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans out there. I mean, I still think of the song from Utada, I forgot her last name, Simple and Clean, and every time I hear that song, it's just like this rush of emotions and nostalgia. Just it can be a little overwhelming just because it's such a beautiful song. But yeah, just wanted to put that out there for you guys. And next we head on over to a few articles from massivellyop.com. And it says here that Hellbugs and Love Hugs keep Rift's community busy. And admittedly, legit, I thought this game went offline. But that was Defiance that went offline within the realm of this publisher from... was it Game Ago? Or no, who were they? Sorry, it was Tryon Worlds. That's right. It's been such a while. I do remember when this game first came out all those years ago, and I remember hearing a lot of good things about it, especially the sort of large-scale community events where you gather, well, the rifts and defeat the monsters that try to get out from those and whatnot. And I know that's something that a lot of other games have been doing too. And I guess it's kind of very similar to the corruption portals that appear throughout the various maps in the New World. And I know a lot of MMOs do something very similar to that. Excuse me. But it does go on to say here that there's a Valentine's event that if you're interested in playing this game, but there's also a Hellbug event which will be returning soon, according to a recent newsletter. And this is supposed to be a crossover event with the now defunct Defiance game. And this is a game that I also bought when it first came out, the collector's edition and everything. And man, talk about regret in terms of paying for a game, admittedly. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool that they're actually doing a crossover event with a game that used to be a part of their collection. But unfortunately, yeah, now, like I said, the game unfortunately went offline about 4 months ago, I believe. And yeah, if you play Rift, like, let me know how the game is doing, because again, this is an MMO that's just been around for so long, and I heard nothing from it, so that's why I assumed it went offline. I would love to hear all the Rift players who actually still play this game, and if you are, please let me know down in the comment section below how the game is, why you still play the game, and if you have any high hopes for the game continuing down, especially in 2022. And back with more New World news, and it says here that the New World tries to sell endgame players on Expedition Mutators, and admittedly I don't know what that is, so hopefully we'll figure it out together. And it continues on to say, with an ever increasing number of players in the New World reaching the level cap, Amazon's come under pressure to provide meaty endgame content to keep its crowd occupied, a problem that virtually all MMOs have essentially. The current major initiative is Expedition Mutators, which is a customizable group instance that offers better rewards for higher difficulties, and they actually did release this little video on Twitter explaining what it is. But I think it's like one of those things where you're able to customize the dungeons basically as to what kind of difficulty you want and how you want to play it out for, again, like I said earlier, for better difficulties, excuse me, and whatnot. Essentially, it just seems like a daily within a dungeon that you can keep redoing for better rewards if you up the difficulty to nightmare mode, as some other MMOs might call it, or hard mode or something like that. And so this is pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. This is something that many MMOs do, nothing new in particular. But is it enough to kind of keep those endgame New World players keep playing over the years, or at least the next couple months at the very least? I don't know. Admittedly, I haven't hit level cap yet. I'm still just kind of taking my time and gathering resources, because that's what I enjoy doing the most. But if you are somebody who does play endgame, let me know down in the comment section below if this is enough to keep you playing, or if you or if it's fun at all, because I know I played a lot of nightmare mode and hard mode difficulty dungeons and various other MMOs, and if it's too hard, it's just not something that you really want to do. Or maybe if you're committed enough, you'll try to gear up and become better at some of the boss mechanics and whatnot, because those can be pretty challenging, admittedly. So, and to all the Dauntless fans out there, it says here that Dauntless makes bounty tokens and purchased hunt passes permanent in their latest update. And it goes on to say here that Dauntless likes its battle passes, as regular players no doubt are aware by now, but those battle passes were only available for a limited time. But as of the new Dawn update, however, that will no longer be the case, as battle passes passes, that have been upgraded from the standard free version to paid for elite version will never expire and can be completed on players' own time and can be switched at any time as well, which actually sounds really nice, giving players the ability to play at their own pace instead of rushing towards getting their rewards at a time frame. And yeah, that I actually like this now that I read it. Other updates include another round of weekly challenges, story quests, platinum store offerings, and reward cash items as well if you're interested. And to all the Elder Scrolls Online fans out there, you got an event going on, and it's called the Daedric War Celebration event. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but apparently you get a new more morphable pet as a reward if you're interested. And in their next article, it says here that Activision-Blizzard's Raven Software is formally unionizing. And I'm not going to talk about politics, so I'll just leave it at that. And to those of you who were hoping to get a Dragon Age game in the year 2022, doesn't look like it's happening. It says here that there is, quote, no chance that Dragon Age 4 will be released in 2022. Summer of 2023 is reportedly the earliest possible time frame, according to all the leaks and reports that we've been getting, but nothing's substantiated, nothing's set in stone. But I'll keep you guys posted as we get more information for sure. And in their next article from GamesRadar.com, it says here that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2 is reportedly expected to be released in the fourth quarter of 2022. And that in a recent tweet, leaker Tom Henderson stated that things are in motion to reveal the sequel, with yesterday's announcement that LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga would arrive on April 5th. Henderson said that it seemed incredibly likely that the follow-up to Respawn's 2019 effort would be revealed on May 4th. May the 4th be with you, obviously. I think that's, yeah. Henderson also claimed that the game is expected to be released in fourth quarter 2022. That would line up with the release of the original game, which launched in November of 2019. But it's worth noting that the absence of any word from Respawn or EA, release schedules are subject to change anytime. And yeah, again, this isn't set in stone either, but it does seem pretty plausible from previous, I guess you could say, behaviors of the company and whatnot. But again, one of those things, I'll definitely keep you guys posted as we get more information. And that wraps up today's episode of MMO and RPG news. I really do appreciate it if you made it with me so far, because the watch time significantly helps with the algorithms, probably more so than any other thing on YouTube right now, in my opinion. But anyways, everyone, I really do again appreciate it for all your support and just all the kind words, especially from the previous video, and so with that being said, I will finally let you guys go. Hope you guys have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers, everyone.